Okay, hello. I think I am now live. Yes, I am. I can see myself. So I am live. Welcome, everyone, to my very first live YouTube broadcast. Just it's a little different to what I'm used to, so I just excuse me just 1 second while I just make sure that everything seems to be working, and I think it is, yes. So hello and welcome to this very first live broadcast I'm doing on YouTube. My name is Louise and I am an online English teacher. And I work with students who are looking to build up their confidence in speaking and writing, and who also want to have a level of fluency about their speaking abilities, about their language abilities. And in future lessons I will be talking about what that means, because fluency means lots of different things to lots of different people. And I'll tell you what fluency means to me and what it is that I teach in terms of helping people reach that level of fluency. But for today, I thought that I would do a quick lesson on talking about celebrations. And at the weekend, on the 1st of October, it was my brother-in-law's 40th birthday. And 40 in the UK is actually quite a big deal, reaching this specific number. Now, for some people, reaching the age of 40 can be hugely traumatic, and it's a sign that you have reached what we would class as middle age. You're middle-aged, so you're in that in-between stage. You're no longer young and youthful, but you're not old either, but you are closer to old age than you once were. And so some people find that number very scary, and it's not something that they really want to admit to or know about. And so I'm going to talk about how we react to different ages in the UK, how we celebrate them, and what we do. And I will tell you about the celebration we had for my brother-in-law as well. And I want you to tell me, do you celebrate in the same way? So in the comments box, in the chat box, I have a chat box open so you can comment as you are watching. First of all, say hi. Tell me that you can hear me and that you can see me okay. Say hi, tell me where you're from. So I already know that Gemma is here. Gemma is from Spain, so hi to Gemma. Hello. As we go through and I tell you a little bit more about the celebrations that we have here in the UK and the different numbers and the significance of the different numbers or our different ages that we have celebrations for, tell me, do you celebrate these same numbers, or do you celebrate differently, or is our birthdays not that important in your country or in your family? Tell me, do you celebrate your own birthday? I know that I've spoken to some people in different countries where they don't celebrate their birthday at all. And I think, my goodness, we celebrate every single birthday. And I think that particularly in my family, if someone forgot someone's birthday, that it would be very upsetting for that person, that somebody forgot their birthday. And in actual fact, on Friday I was with my niece and we were talking about, she had been finishing off making a birthday card for her daddy, and she was talking about how things have changed, the way that she draws as she's getting older. Her style is changing. She's 9. Sounds like she's a professional artist already, but she has changed her style. The eyes are different now and things. And she saw sitting on a shelf in the bookshelf, that there was a card, and she thought, oh, is that the card I made for your birthday this year, Auntie Louise? Can I see it? And I said, I never got a card from you this year. And she just looked at me. I gave you a card? No, you didn't. I got a card from your mummy, my sister, but I never got a made card from you. Oh, she was horrified that she hadn't made me a card. And so was I. I was very upset. I have a collection right from before she could even write. She made me this beautiful finger painting of a flower when she was about 3, and I have kept every single card, and I don't have a card from this year. So I was a little bit upset that I hadn't received a card from my niece. But I sent out lots of different links, but I don't have an email set up to email anybody as yet. So that's obviously, I know that Jack has an email thing that he does, and I have to study how he does it. I don't know how he tells everybody that he's live. So I did send out links to everybody on Facebook and G+, and I sent a Twitter link out, and I sent LinkedIn links out. So I don't know, maybe it's not quite reached everybody yet, but hopefully people will come in soon and join in. If not, everybody can watch the replay, and I will figure out how to send out other links to people in the future. So I wonder, I'll just jump over into Facebook just while I didn't want to do that. Just while I'm remembering about it, and let's just see. Let me just see, where did the link go? Yes, okay, I'll just share it out again from the group, and let's see, I'm live now. Oh, I can't even spell live now. Join me. There we go. And I'll just share it out to somewhere else just so that other people can see the link too. Thank you, Hema. You're always so good at sharing everything. I noticed that you share lots and lots of things. Thank you so much for sharing out onto all your social media contacts. So my niece made this card for her daddy's 40th birthday. But before I get on to talking about the celebration we had for his birthday, I thought it would be interesting for you to know about the different ages that are significant here in the UK. And the first major birthday that really, apart from when you're very small, and obviously your first birthday is quite important, although you don't really understand what's going on, you just think, oh, cake. It may even be the first time you've tried cake. For my niece Grace, that's her name, Grace, I really should just say Grace, on her very first birthday, she'd never had cake before, and so my sister had this lovely cake with lovely icing and flowers on it and everything, and it was filled with strawberry jam, and it had buttercream icing in the middle as well. And so obviously she got the first slice of cake, and it's one of these really funny things. I don't know if you've ever seen on YouTube videos that parents have put up of their children eating something for the first time, and it's either a sort of shock of, when they're eating a lemon for the first time and that very sour, and they're just, oh, what are you doing to me? What is this? Or the other reaction, which Grace had, is, oh, this is the most amazing thing I've ever tasted in my entire life. Why have I not eaten this before? And she was just, it was all over her fingers, it was all over her, in fact, it was just everywhere. She just loved this cake. My favourite video, if you can find it, is of, again, it's for a first birthday celebration, and it's a little girl sitting in her high chair, and she gets this giant chocolate cake for her first birthday, and she's never tasted chocolate before, and it's put in front of her, and she's looking at it going, I don't really know what to do with this. It's sort of, what is it? It doesn't look like anything I'm allowed to eat. And so her mum takes her finger and puts it in this chocolate frosting and puts it on her mouth, and she goes, oh. The next thing, she goes head first into this chocolate cake. And that's the best way to eat chocolate cake, I feel. There's just no hands, just go straight in and just eat the cake. When she did eventually lift her head, she was just covered in chocolate. She was a big chocolate mess. But that's the reaction that children have to sweet things when they haven't been used to eating sweet things. So probably the first 5 or 6 years here in the UK, you get a birthday party every year for your birthday. So my niece Grace will be 10 in January, so there will definitely be a birthday party for that as well. And she's had a birthday party all the way through, so first 10 years birthday party. I would imagine that this will probably be the last big party that she'll have until she reaches the next big number. And in the UK, the big number celebration is for your 18th birthday. Why 18? Well, because 18 in the UK means that you are legally allowed to drink alcohol. I mean, not water or tea or anything. You can obviously drink that from any age, but you are legally allowed to go into a bar, a pub, or go into an off license, which is a wine shop that sells alcohol. So you are allowed to buy alcohol legally from the age of 18. The other significance to the age of 18 is that is the legal age when you can start to vote. So the legal age for voting in this country is 18. Some elections or some votes, amendments can be made to the voting process, and sometimes you can vote from the age of 16, but that is on particular things where there has been an amendment made to the election rules. But for a general election, you are still only allowed to vote from the age of 18 upwards. And that is a significant number. It's a sort of moving from childhood, from your teens into becoming an adult, because you are being given the privilege almost of being able to vote, that it is now your right as a member of society. You finished school, you leave school when you're 18, and you are either going to go on to work or you're going to university, but you are then considered to be an adult. So you are allowed, yes, Hema, you are allowed to do many things once you're 18. So for example, you are also, when you're 18, you can also apply to have a credit card. Not that I ever knew any 18-year-olds who have a credit card. They're very dangerous, and I wouldn't advise anybody getting a credit card. You can get yourselves into a whole bunch of trouble with a credit card. Can you imagine 18-year-olds going, woo, I've got a credit card, and now I can buy alcohol, and that sounds like a huge disaster to me. So 18 is the first really big celebration, and lots of teenagers get very excited about turning 18. I have to say that when I turned 18, it wasn't really a big deal. I don't think it wasn't really one of those. In fact, I was on holiday with my parents and my sister on my 18th birthday. In fact, most of my birthdays were spent on holiday somewhere, because my birthday's in the summer, it's in July, so we were always on holiday, so we were always somewhere nice for my birthday. And on my 18th birthday we were in Mallorca. We used to go there. My mum had a friend who owned an apartment in Mallorca, in Calador, in the south of the island, and we were there, and so we just had a nice little family meal for my 18th. I was allowed to buy a drink, and then when we got home, my mum and dad took me to a pub for the very first time and bought me a drink in a pub. So that was my 18th birthday, because at the time when I was 18, which was about a million years ago now, 18 wasn't quite as special as it is now. 18 is really seen as being the significant number of adulthood in the UK now. Before that, and it's still an important number, the next number that's important is 21, your 21st birthday. And my 21st birthday, I had a party for my 21st because I would say that I'm of an age where my parents and my relatives, my aunts and uncles and my grandparents are of that generation where 21st had more significance than turning 18. And so 21 nowadays probably isn't quite as significant. And the reason that 21 has always been classed as being the significant number in the UK is that until I can't remember, and I did this in a lesson not so long ago. I'm quite annoyed I can't remember. I want to say roughly about the 1960s. Up until that time, no one could vote until they reached the age of 21, which was at that time considered to be the age of majority, so the age that you became an adult. And so 21 was very significant, in the same way that nowadays 18 is significant, in that 18 is when you get to vote, when you get to do all these things. It was 21. So the 21 is still significant in that people still see it as being, you're more of an adult now that you're 21. Okay, so when you're 18, you're still technically a teenager, although society and the government, the law, consider you to be an adult. So if you do anything wrong by the time you reach 18, so if you commit a crime, you will be tried as an adult and you will be treated as an adult in the legal system. Below 18, you are still considered to be a minor, so you're still considered to be a child and will be prosecuted and charged and tried in juvenile court or a youth court, or in a situation that is slightly lesser than adult court or the adult legal system. So when you reach 18, that's when it gets very serious. If you're going to start committing crime, you're treated as an adult. So up until about the 60s, it was the age of 21 when all these things came into being. So 21 was the age when you reached majority, as they call it. So you become part of society, you become part of the adult working world. And it's known, we have a number of phrases saying that you get the key to the door when you're 21. You get the key to the door, so it means that you can open the door to your adult life. You can move on, you can do lots of things with your life. And I would imagine that it would be things like you would be able to get a mortgage at that point. The key to the door suggests to me, you get your front door key, or you're able to buy your own house. So those were the significant numbers for the first moment when you leave your childhood behind. So it used to be 21, it's now 18, and those are the two significant numbers. So 21 is the key to the door, or you're coming of age. So you're grown up, you're an adult now, and you are expected to be a responsible citizen and contribute to society. That's when you reach 21. And then from then on, we go by the big numbers in the tens. So we will have something special happen for your 30th birthday, for example. So when I turned 30, I was still working in an office. I was a team manager at the time, and as I said before, my birthday is in July, and because I never went to school on my birthday, I never had to do any schoolwork or homework or anything like that on my birthday. I have this rule, and I have it even to this day, that I never work on my birthday, ever. I don't do any work, I do something nice for my birthday. So I was on holiday the week of my birthday this particular year when I turned 30, And when I came back to work, at the time I had a boyfriend who also worked for the same company, and one of my friends from my department was good friends with him as well, and managed to get a whole lot of photographs of me and some other bits and pieces. And so when I walked into the part of the building where my department was, I started noticing that there were banners on the walls along the corridors, and then as you got to the big swing doors that opened up into our department, there were big pictures of me on the doors, and then there were more pictures of me lining the whole corridor until I got to my team, and there were balloons and streamers and all sorts of things all over my desk. I was horrified. I was like, oh my goodness, I can't believe this. And the really weird thing is that I was the third 30th celebration that week. So there were two other people, one in my team and one was my former team manager, all turning 30 all in the same week. And there were apparently there was nothing done for them to the extent that the department had done for me. So I don't know why I got the special treatment and the boys didn't. So yeah, there was lots of pictures and streamers and balloons, as I say, and the whole department had put money together and got me a present and a card. Everybody had signed it with lots of funny messages and things about turning 30. And also my best friend also managed to find some embarrassing moments from my time working with the company. So when I'd first started and things, so my department manager happily told all these wondrous stories about things that had happened in the past. Maybe I drunk one too many glasses of wine at a department night out and behaved inappropriately, perhaps, I don't know. So that was my 30th birthday. And with my family, we went out to a really posh restaurant. It was, oh my goodness, it was very posh. And there was about 5 or 6 different courses to this meal, and there was different wine and different kinds of drink to go with every meal. We were quite drunk by the time we had finished with all this wine and other alcohol, but it was a really nice family meal, and lots of special presents and lots of cards with the number 30 on it, and lots of, oh, don't be sad, you're only 30, these sorts of things, because again, 30 seems to be a number that people have trouble turning as well. I have to say that in any significant number I've turned, it hasn't bothered me at all. So that's 30. 40. So we're coming on to 40 now, and again, 40 is a really big number for some people. Some people reach 40 and just think, that's it, life is over, I'm done. I have to say, when I turned 40, it didn't really bother me in the slightest. I was just like, oh, it's just a number. I don't feel 40. I don't think I look 40, so I'm not. But for other people, turning 40 is a really major turning point in their life. And I think, again, that comes back to a time when for the older generation, turning 40 really was that you were a sign that you were getting older, that things were starting to slow down, that your body was maybe starting to let you down a little bit. Your eyesight apparently starts to go by the time you're 45, and you definitely need to start wearing glasses, although I wear glasses anyway. But these sorts of things, you find it more difficult to lose weight, or you find it more difficult to find a new job, these sorts of things. And that probably, looking at it 40 years ago in the 70s, people's life expectations, their life expectancy was that probably by the time you reached the age of 70, that was it. that you were looking at the end of your life. So when you turn 40, you think, oh, gosh, I've only got 30 years left, perhaps. And that's me, off into the wherever. But nowadays, we have much longer life expectancy. So I think people are less worried about turning 40 now. 40, they say, is the new 30. So by the time you reach 40, you've got all this life experience, you know exactly what you want, you know what you like, you know what you don't like, and you know how to go out and get these sorts of things. So more people are doing more fantastic things in their 40s now than they have in the past. And even the growing trend here in the UK, and it might be across the world, I don't know, that more women are having babies in their 40s and in their later, not even in early 40s, in their mid to late 40s, women are having babies for the very first time, which gives me lots of hope, because I would still quite like to have a baby. And I'm now 44, so there's still plenty of time for me. So next number, 50, 60, etc. Those are still big significant numbers, and the closer you get to retirement. So in the UK, retirement ages are really quite confusing. People in the UK get a pension from the government, a state pension. Everyone is entitled to a state pension because we pay national insurance contributions, so you're entitled to that. Hopefully you will also have a company pension if you have worked for a company that provides a pension, and there is now legislation that means that every company has to provide their employees with a pension. Then you should have a company pension as well. Now, employers generally expect you to retire at between 60 and 65. That's when they expect you to retire. Getting your state pension, because more of us are living longer, and there are more people who are of retirement age in the UK, they have increased the state retirement age to, I think it's 67. I think by the time I reach that age, it will be about 70 or something by the time I get to state pension age. So they are increasing the age. So I don't think you can get your state pension till you're about 68, 67, 68, something like that. But most people generally, when they hit 60 or between 60 and 65, they're thinking, right, I'm retiring. I am stopping work. I'm going to enjoy what we call our twilight years. So I'm going to enjoy the next 20, maybe even 30 years of my life without work. So in terms of celebrations, when you reach 60, then we're probably talking about having a gentle fun making of people at the age of 60 about retiring. And so that conjures up images of old people with white hair, curly hair, with walking sticks, wearing big fuzzy slippers, wearing warm cardigans and shuffling around, not being very active and that. So lots of birthday cards, lots of greetings that people give to people turning 60 are ones suggesting that they're very old now, that they require hearing aids, or that they have false teeth or things like that. So for example, when my mum turned 60, people bought her all sorts of things for old ladies. So there were denture clean. There were things for cleaning your dentures, your false teeth, and I think there was a hair net. That when you see old ladies with their curlers in at night, they have a hair net to keep their curlers in when they're sleeping, and all these sorts of things. When my dad turned 60, I got him a giant magnifying glass, which I think he really needs, and a flat cap. That's what old gentlemen wear. They wear a flat cap to keep their heads warm. So yeah, we tend to poke fun at people when they start to reach that age of 60, 65, because they're entering their older years, and things really start to, they should be taking it easy. But nowadays, of course, that's just not the case. I mean, for example, my mum will be 75 in October, at the end of this month actually. I was going to say in October, but it is October. My mum will be 75 this year. And if I think back to my granny and compare my own granny with my mum looks like she's about 50 compared to my granny, in terms of how active my mum is and the way she dresses, the way she behaves. My mum doesn't look like my own personal image of what my granny looked like. And I'm not saying for a second that my own granny wasn't active, because she had she had 5 grandchildren. 4 of us were girls, and we were all wild, and so she had to run around after us all the time. And my granddad wasn't particularly well, so she had to look after him a lot. And so she was very active, but she just had a very different look to the look of 70-year-olds nowadays. And when you go out and you see people in the street, and you just think, you don't see many people looking like my own granny anymore. So people have become younger. I think that better lifestyles, better food, more activity have kept people much younger and much more active nowadays. So definitely my mum is not a typical looking 75-year-old. And neither's my dad. My dad's 72 now. And he doesn't look anything like my granddad either. So people in their 70s and even 80s are able to do amazing things nowadays. You see on Facebook or Google Plus or on YouTube 80-year-olds doing the most amazing things that you think, I'm not sure I could do that. I'm in my 40s and I don't think I could run a marathon or cycle for that length of time or dance like that. So it just shows you that keeping active, keep your mind active, and doing lots of different things is really important for keeping that activity and being full of life in your later years. So that's the significant numbers that we celebrate in the UK, the big numbers. So we tend to go for the 10s, but we celebrate every birthday. So every birthday we will give a card and a present. Probably just a small thing. When it's a big significant number, we probably will put a little bit more effort into thinking about what will we get that person for their 40th birthday or for their whatever birthday. So we will think about these things, and we will give a present to people. And I like giving presents. I like wrapping it up and putting nice bows on it and making it look all lovely. That's why I love Christmas as well. It's just purely for the wrapping. It's not for any other reason. I just love wrapping Christmas presents. So if anybody doesn't like wrapping Christmas presents or presents, just send them to me. I'll wrap them. I'll send them back to you. So we give cards and we give presents, and we do that for our family. I would say close family. When it comes to perhaps friends, we might send them a card, or we might send them nowadays an e-card, or wish them happy birthday on Facebook. We do that for friends that we know, and we wish them many happy returns, or I hope you have an amazing day, have a wonderful day, I hope your family is spoiling you. These are all sorts of things that we will say to our friends or other people on Facebook, or to our family if we can't see them. So I actually, on my mum's birthday this year, I won't see her because the day before her birthday, she actually flies out to Orlando. So she will be spending her birthday this year in the sun, as she does quite frequently. So my dad will have a card and a present for her, and I'll probably send an e-card as well, so she gets that when she gets up in the morning on her birthday. And I'll Skype her as well to wish her a happy birthday. So lots of different things nowadays, and technology has allowed us to do lots of different things to celebrate people's birthdays. And that brings me on to my brother-in-law's 40th birthday. So as I said, it was on Saturday, the 1st of October, and we didn't see him on the 1st of October. He was just spending it with my sister and Grace, my niece. So on the Friday, his mum and dad wanted to take everyone out for dinner for his 40th birthday. So we actually went to a restaurant that's very close to my house, which was very unusual, but it was where we stay compared to where my brother-in-law and sister stay is actually much easier for people to get to, because his parents live in Glasgow, which is about an hour and a half's drive away from where we are. And to get from their house in Glasgow to my sister's house is actually an even bigger journey than coming here, which is quite a straightforward straight road. So everybody came here to a restaurant that's very close by, and my sister sent my mum and I a message on Friday afternoon saying, could you go to the restaurant and put balloons and take the birthday cake and decorate the table for his birthday. I'm like, oh, I don't think he's going to like that very much at all. And she said, well, I can't do it while he's there, because he won't come in if he knows that that's what we're going to do. So I need somebody to do it before we get to the restaurant. So my mum and I went down with balloons, and we tied balloons to the backs of the chairs that said happy 40th birthday on them. We had a big helium balloon, a big shiny blue helium balloon floating in the sky saying 40. We put up big shiny banners saying 40th birthday all round the table. And that evening when we went in for dinner, and his parents and his sister and his brother-in-law and his two young nephews were already there, and he's standing talking to them, and he's like, do you know, where's our table? And of course we all started laughing because we could see the table all ballooned out, and then he sat and we're like, what, you can't recognize which one is our table? And he was, oh, what have you done? And he kind of turned and was like, oh, I don't believe it, oh no. And so we're, oh, I don't want to sit at the table. I'm like, oh, for goodness sake, nobody knows who's 40. And he said, okay, Louise, you just sit beside the 40 balloon then. We'll just pretend it's your birthday. And I went, nobody will believe that I'm 40. And he went, oh yeah, that's right, you look like you're 50. Let me tell you, it's just as well he was standing too far away from him. I would have popped him one in the face. Cheeky monkey. So he did, my sister forced him to sit right in front of the giant helium balloon that was pointing 40. And so we had a very nice dinner, although, having said that, his two nephews are very lively, shall we say. His youngest nephew is not quite 2, and is a real handful. My goodness me, I felt quite sorry for his mum. She was desperately trying to control him and control the other one, who's almost 8, and they're wild. They are uncontrollable children, and they were very noisy, and they hit as well, which I think the eldest one came up and had a bit of a swipe at me, and unfortunately I don't like that kind of behaviour in small children, and I told him. And he didn't like me very much, and he just looked, and he kind of went, in fact he went to my mum, who are you? Because he had met my mum before, but he'd met my mum when he was very young, so doesn't remember either of us. And trying to explain that my mum is Gracie's granny, and his Auntie Fiona, who's my sister, her mum, and he just didn't understand until I went, this is Grace, because Grace was sitting beside me, and this is her granny, Auntie Fiona, because Auntie Fiona, my sister, was sitting next to my mum. Auntie Fiona? Oh yeah. Not very bright. And then all of a sudden, this young boy became very calm when he realised that Grace and I were talking a lot, and Grace was playing a game on my phone, and he likes playing games. So after that, after I had given him a row for hitting people, he was very calm. So I clearly have a calming effect on wild children. But it was a very noisy dinner. And I think we all got home and everybody was, oh my word, that was that felt quite stressful. It would have been better if we'd just had his mum and dad there. It would have been much nicer. So I didn't see my brother-in-law or my sister or Grace on Saturday. They were having a big special family day. And again, big sister to help out. I had to, on Friday, I always pick my niece up from school, but I had to go to my sister's house beforehand, and I had to hide the present that my sister had bought for my brother-in-law months and months ago. My mum has been keeping it hidden in her wardrobe since, I don't know, I think it's since about March. She found on eBay someone was selling a signed shirt that belonged to Eric Cantona, who is my brother-in-law's absolute hero. So it's framed, it was huge, signed shirt of that belonged to Eric Cantona when he played for Manchester United. And so my sister had sent me an email telling me where I was to put it. She had moved Grace's doll's house a little bit, and I was to slide this giant picture that was already wrapped, but slide it behind the doll's house and move the doll's house a little bit just so that it was completely hidden. And I had to go and do that before I picked Grace up from school, because we've discovered that my brother-in-law gets off his work early on a Friday afternoon, and if I had gone after I'd collected my niece from school, he would have been home, and that would have been a big disaster. So I had to go and do that as well. So anything else about birthday celebrations? Oh, the cake! Oh, it's compulsory to have a birthday cake for your birthday. Whether or not someone makes you a birthday cake or whether you buy a birthday cake, there must be cake and candles. Although fortunately nowadays shops are selling numbered candles. So for my brother-in-law, we had 2 candles, a 4 and a 0 to make 40. In days gone by, you see pictures of people with 40 candles, and obviously the joke being with somebody standing by with a fire extinguisher, because 40 candles is a lot all lit at once, might set fire to the place. So you get jokes like that about people's age as well with the birthday cake. So we had a special big chocolate birthday cake that my mum had bought from a food hall at Marks and Spencer, which has lovely food. A very iconic department store in the UK that has a food hall as well, and their food is lovely, and their cakes are even lovelier. So he had this fabulous chocolate cake, and so people, it's very common nowadays for children to get character cakes. So for example, it's depending on the age, so things like Peppa Pig or Thomas the Tank Engine or SpongeBob SquarePants. My niece loves SpongeBob. So noisy. Why does he have to be so noisy? I wouldn't mind him if he wasn't quite so noisy. Just shh. And then for once you're older and you've outgrown the cartoons, then cakes decorated with iced flowers and chocolate and things that look in the shape of giant muffins. Or you get a particular favourite of mine is one that's made into a monkey, so it's just covered in chocolate and it's got a cute little monkey face, or there are lions, or any kind of cake really. You can go in and ask for a baker to decorate it in any way that you like. So a birthday cake is something that is very important, and people always get a bit, where's my cake? So cakes are important. One particular cake that I will always remember, and it was, I remember the cake. I can't remember the birthday. I don't know how old I was on this birthday, but it was a few years ago. I want to say I was maybe about 38. And my sister made a rainbow cake for me, and it was absolutely wonderful. And she did it in the colours of red, yellow, pink, green, orange, purple, blue. So 7 layers of cake. Each layer of the cake was a different colour with a little bit of icing and jam in between. But she had disguised it. The whole outside of the cake was just red, because red is my favourite colour. And it had strawberries on it and everything. And so I was like, oh my goodness. Because my niece was very young at the time, so she was still at home looking after my niece. So she had time to actually make this cake. And I thought, oh, that's really lovely of her. And I was wondering why Grace was, Auntie Louise, cut it. I was like, why is she when she must be so desperate for this piece of cake? And I cut it and sliced it and took out, and I was almost crying, because the cake was just so wonderful. I hadn't expected it to see that. I expected to see a plain sponge in when I cut it, and there was this beautiful rainbow cake, and it was wonderful. So that was a really nice surprise, that cake with the rainbows. And you see lots of different cakes now that have hidden surprises in them. And on Facebook and again on G+, you see people making these cakes where they cut a hole in the sponge, and they pour M&Ms or other kinds of sweeties into the hole. Then they put another cake on top, and they cover the whole thing in bits of chocolate, so Kit Kat and bits of Snicker bars and Maltesers and chocolate buttons and all these sort of things. And then when you cut the cake, all these M&Ms just sort of spew out the cake as a secret, sort of like a cake piñata. I think you're thinking of the Mexican toy that children have, where they hit it with a stick to get the toys to come out. So those are the sorts of things that people have for their birthdays. And I want you to tell me, I've been talking for ages now. I can't believe I've talked for this long. I'm such a chatterbox once I get started. So that is... that's the celebrations that we have here in the UK. So sometimes, for example, again, just thinking back to my own birthdays, for my 21st, because we put more emphasis on the 21st, I had a party for my 21st rather than my 18th. And we went, it was held in a function hall that was part of a pub. And it was this lovely function hall, and then we had a disco, and there was a buffet, and all my friends from work and my friends from university and friends from the gym and my relatives, my aunts and uncles, my granny, my godmother, all kinds of other people were all at this party. And it was a really good night, with lots of dancing and drinking and having fun and catching up with people. And so that's what we did. And it's customary at these sorts of parties to get up and speak. So my dad got up to thank everybody and to say a bit about, my goodness, I can't believe you're 21, you're my little baby. And there was a picture. My mum had put together a photo album of me through all the ages, some very embarrassing pictures in there with terrible hair. And weird clothes and doing weird things, and so there was a baby picture, and there was another picture that had been taken just recently. In fact, I think it was my graduation picture, and then this album of pictures that everybody could look at and have a good chuckle at, and then afterwards my dad handed me the microphone, and I was just, I don't want to speak. And at the time, when I was 21, I was quite shy. I wasn't really into public speaking in any way. And so I think I basically, in a kind of slurred, I think I had slightly too much to drink by this point. So it was a bit of a, thanks for coming, and then handed the microphone back to my dad. It was very short. Whatever it was that I said. I'm sure I would say a lot more now. I mean, really, you can't get me to shut up now. So that was my my 21st, and for my 40th birthday, it was just very quiet. It was just my mum and dad, my sister, brother-in-law, Grace, and that was lovely as well. My sister had spent months pulling together things from my entire life that she knew that I would really enjoy. So she found things from 1972. So for example, a very common thing here, children's comics, and a common thing is that at the end of the year for Christmas time, they bring out a book, an album of continuing stories and other things. And my favourite comic when I was growing up was a comic called Bunty. And Bunty was this active young lady, and she did all sorts of adventures and things, and there was lots of good stories in this comic. And at the back of the comic every week, you could cut out a cutout of her, and she would have a paper outfit. So you would cut her out every week, and perhaps that week she was going sailing, so she had a sailing outfit, and you would cut it out and you would just fold the paper clothes over her body, and there she was wearing her sailing outfit. So my sister found an album from 1972. She found a crochet magazine from 1972 as well. So those of you who know me really well know that I love crochet, and whew, let me tell you, there was some quite daring projects in this crochet magazine. I'm not really sure that I would be crocheting a bikini anytime soon, or the tiniest pair of crochet shorts I've ever seen. Not really my kind of style, I don't think, but it was just really fun and interesting to look back through the style of the 1970s with the big flared trousers and the fringing and that sort of hippie style of the early 1970s. But she also found me things like my favourite children's TV programme when I was little was Bagpuss, which is a big furry cat, and I'm just looking around the room because I'm sure I've got a Bagpuss and I don't know where he is. He's not here, but he's a big pink and white striped cat, and he had his own TV show, and he lived in an old curiosity shop, and it was a fantastic little program. So she got me something to do with Bagpuss, and Play School, which was the original preschool program that you watched to learn about how to talk about shapes and colours and numbers and lots of other exciting things. So these were all sorts of things that she found for me, as well as things that were significant to me as I grew up. And she found pictures of my favourite musical, and I've shown this before, and I'm not wearing it just now because it annoys me when I write. But the big present that she got me was this bracelet, and you won't be able to see it if I hold it up. No, because of the light, you won't be able to see it. I'll take a picture of it. In fact, I have got a picture of it, and you can see the writing. So she has it stamped on the inside with a message from her, so that's a very important present, so I wear that quite a lot. So that's an example of a significant present. So when you reach a big number, somebody buys you something that has a special memory attached to it, and this is something that is very special to me. And in actual fact, just thinking about it, on my significant birthdays, on my 18th birthday, I got a silver bracelet from my mum and dad, and on my 21st, I got a silver watch from my mum and dad, and then on my 40th, I got this silver bracelet from my sister. So silver is an important thing for me. I'm really not into yellow gold. I don't know why. Silver's always been more of my colour. So that is celebrations, birthday celebrations in the UK. So if you're watching the replay, then tell me, how do you celebrate special birthdays where you are? Do you do the same as in the UK? Do you send cards and give gifts and have birthday cakes? Do you sing happy birthday, or do you sing something else? Or are special numbers not significant in your country? Do you is a birthday just the same as any other day? Tell me about how people celebrate your birthday, or what do you do to celebrate on your birthday? Do you do something special yourself? Do you go away and treat yourself to something special just on your own? So tell me, what do you do to celebrate birthdays in your country? So that's all from me. If you have enjoyed this video and this live broadcast, please share it with your friends. Please like this video and tell me in the comments. Tell me what else you would like to know about in English in future broadcasts. And I will try and move the camera because I'm aware that I'm looking like a very strange colour. I'm a bit washed out, so I think that the light coming in from the window is actually making me look a little odd. But I would like to thank everybody for joining me during this video. As I say, share this video with your friends and family, like this video please, and encourage more people to come and join me for the next one. I will find out how to give you more notification for future videos. And I will see you all next time. Oh, actually, before I forget, I've also put in the comments, you can join my daily speaking challenge over on Facebook or on G+. I put a link to the Facebook challenge at the moment. The G+ one is exactly the same, but I'll put a link there in case you prefer to follow on G+. A daily speaking challenge, 1 word every day, and I want you to speak for about 1 minute on that word, whatever that word suggests to you. So we've had 3 words so far. Day 1 was happy, day 2 was dog, and today's word is field. So speak for about 1 minute, record yourself speaking for 1 minute, send it to me either on G+ through chat or Facebook Messenger, or you can email me and send me your recordings, and I will give you personal feedback on your talking. So yes, that's everything I wanted to tell you. So I have just under an hour. Okay, I was only aiming for 30 minutes. I really have to stop talking so much. So that's it from me, and I will see you all next time. Take care everyone. Bye.